I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth. There's no one that can match me.
No affiliation, why they faking? This ain't for debating. We the real, they really imitation. I be contemplating why this ain't on like heavy rotation on radio stations. I just pray the Lord give me patience, cause I'm running through these rappers like my name Walter Payton. Shitting on these rappers, 9 to 5 is my occupation. Raw, you come in with your best troops, you best bring more. Already told you I got the juice like Orenthal. Already know what I'm about to do, bet your men fall. Everyone know that we got the truth, all your men false. So boss, overtaking our enemies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operator and bringing haters to misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah, that's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas make them more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause their time is short and a moment late. Let it culminate to they harder race and it palpitate. Cowards perpetrate like their little group is respectable. Talking intellectual, all of you homosexuals, faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK, ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith, I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them field niggas. Show them to put in work. Move mountain, crush hills, nigga. Take a dead soul. Breathe life and make it live, nigga. No affiliation, so it's no one to compare with us. Took the Lord's laws and just added it with fear, nigga. Aim for the body, cause you know that killer head quicker. With these bars, I'm on my grizzly, so bear witness. You spit cold, I spit flu. Don't compare sickness. You floss diamond, I floss fringes. Don't compare dentists. You PK, we meant the war shit. We ain't Christian. Harm one of us, get pistol whipped like the gun got a belt with it. I'm bred different. The competition just a mill. I'm fed different. I stood front line on them fields. I bled different. I'd rather be a corpse than a cow when I'm led different. Shit, I'm led different. Come through like a juggernaut, so don't get in the way. And we take everything serious. We don't play. I wonder now what they gon' say. Shit, we make profits out of shooters like the NBA. You get slayed for switching sides, nigga. We ain't on the same page. Immaculate conception. Wow. These niggas bitch made. I'm sticking with the foundation where my bricks laid. You switch sides, I'd rather switch K's. You was never with us, nigga. Just know we won't miss you, nigga. Right hand hold the scriptures, nigga. Left hand hold the pistol, nigga. How you want it? You can get it spiritual or physics, nigga. Wrong ones to come against, so bring an army with you. No affiliation. When you see us, make the difference with us. No affiliation. When you see us, know we different, nigga. No affiliation. So no, you can't kick it with us. The wrong ones to come against, bring an army with you.
What's going on, B-More? What's going on, Israel? Clap it up. The history class, we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to go back to the beginning, man. We're going to find out where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians originate from. Where we come from, man. What our culture was like. You know what I'm saying? How we got split up as a nation and then ended up back on the same continent besides the scatting of Israel, of course. But we gonna get it in, man. We gonna get it in from the beginning. You can go into the next slide. Woo. Yeah, and one thing not to forget, man. Do not allow these Christian pastors to tell you that Asians are dealing with the same type of oppression and discrimination and violence that blacks and Hispanics are dealing with, man. They are not a part of our nation, and I tell you this, black people should be standing up for black people. The same way Asians stand up for Asians. Asians don't stand up for black people. Every time an Asian murders a black person, all of the Asians come up against the black community and say that this person should not do any time. 2 Asians that I know of were convicted of murder but did not do 1 day in prison because the Asian community came out in droves. the violence that's being done against Asians is not being done by us. We are not a part of it, and we should not be out here pulling for, praying for, or fighting for any Asians,
Right.
because of any violence done to them, man. And this is not, and I'm not saying this from a point of view of anger or from a personal point of view. I'm saying this because these Asians have a monopoly of business in our communities. They do not share profit or wealth with us at all. They take what they want to take. So you can't rob a people and then turn around and say, help me because somebody is doing this to me when they're doing something to us. That's all I'm saying. We got to look at things logically, people. And I'm going to keep speaking on this subject. But we finna talk about us today. We're going to talk about us. What you seeing on the screen is an illustration of Septimius Severus. It's not an actual picture of Septimius Severus. I believe that particular picture is in the catacombs of Greece, in the catacombs. And Septimius Severus will look very much like the person you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Septimius Severus. All right, he was a gladiator in Rome. All right, he fought. You can look at him like you would look at a Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield. You know, he was a warrior in the ring. All right, when you look outside of the ring, you saw all white faces. This was in Europe. And they built coliseums like you see today, coliseums full of people. Of course, black people couldn't afford the seats to be there. Just like today, you might see one or two, but for the most part, you saw another nation of people watching us battle because we have a warrior mentality and spirit that's unmatched by any other. This is why you always see us in situations like this. And Septimius Severus was he was a gladiator that eventually got his freedom, and eventually he hooked up with some other groups, his people that were there in Europe at that time. And they were able to bring down the Roman Empire. All right, and they started in 1,000-year rule of blacks in Europe. But we're gonna go back a little further than that. Brought about what you know as the Dark Ages or Middle Ages. All right, you had some? All right, let's get that. Let's get, matter of fact, let's go to Babylon and Timbuktu, page 84. We're going to get into it now, goddammit. Page 84, Babylon and Timbuktu.
From Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84.
Read it.
In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Good night. The Roman army under General, say it again. Pompey captured Jerusalem. All right. Now, it was a prediction, a prophecy about this. And before we read any further on that, let's go to Luke 21 and 20.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20.
What color are the letters?
Red.
All right, this is Christ. This is Christ speaking on a premonition. Go ahead, brother.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Look, Christ is saying, when you see Jerusalem surrounded with armies, being pressed with armies, this is what you're supposed to do. Now, he told us before he left us what we were supposed to do, because there was a time coming. A lot of us didn't heed his warnings, but this is what Christ said. Read on.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
The desolation is nigh. Nigh doesn't mean no. It's not going to happen. Nigh means that it's imminent, that it's going to happen. The desolation is the time of destruction, a time of sorrow. Christ is going to spell it out. Read on.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Let them who are still in Judea, I understand at this time, Judea is still a province of Rome, but the people were rebelling, all right, which brought down the Roman army on what was left of the people in Judea. The people that were there were basically the Jews. There was some from the other tribes, but basically it was Judah, Benjamin, and some of Levi still in Jerusalem at that time. And you know how stubborn as hell Judah are. That's the blacks here in America today, or the Negroes, you know what they call us. You know, we're stubborn people. We're a stubborn tribe of people. Read on.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
He's telling us to depart, man. To depart out, to leave these lands, because this is a time of desolation, a time of vengeance, a time for us to pay for the evil and for the blessings that we didn't want. All right, this is the time. Christ is warning us, telling us to flee from this place. Read on.
And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Look, this is a staunch warning. Those who are in the country, don't come back in the city. Flee. Go out. Go from this place. All right, read on.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance.
The days of what?
For these be the days of vengeance.
The days of vengeance, man. Whose vengeance? The Most High's vengeance. The Most High's vengeance. Because he's been telling us, just like he's been telling us now, to stop. Stop following the other nations, man. Stop dealing in their atrocities and their barbarisms and their murder and their rape. Stop dealing with their culture and their gods in their everyday life. We look at the other nations and say they so free. Them people can do whatever the hell they want. But we got to do what God said. Yes. Yes. But we didn't want to do what God said. We didn't want to do what the Most High said. So these are the days of his vengeance. And what's fitting to happen in the days of vengeance? So Christ is telling us to leave, because it's going to get bad, brother. Read on.
That all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Things that are written are about to come to pass. What? The curses. The curses are about to come to pass. You can go out in Deuteronomy and read that. Read all the sicknesses that are going to come upon us, the slavery that's going to come upon us, the hurt, a slavery that's so painful that our children are going to be taken from us, and we're going to have no power to save them, no power to try to make their lives better. This is going to be a horrible one, brother. Read on.
Verse 23. But woe unto them that are with child.
Woe unto them. That means destruction, man. Woe unto them that are with child. There is a people who don't give a damn about the young, and they don't give a damn about the old. These are the people that are surrounding Jerusalem. These are the people that the Most High employed for the days of vengeance. This is an especially vile people, brother. The Roman army is pressing down on Jerusalem, brother. Christ had a prophecy. A lot of us didn't listen. And he goes deep into it. Read on.
And to them that give suck in those days.
Good night. He said a baby right out of the womb who's on the mother's breast will be murdered as well. I mean, you can't get no more vile than that, brother. Read.
For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Good night. There's going to be wrath upon this people, man. This is the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and some of Levi, brother. Read on.
Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Fall by the what?
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Barbarism, man. Slaughter. We talking about genocide here. Read on, brother.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
Did that not happen? Was Christ telling the truth? Was this a prophet? Is this a prophecy? This came to pass, brother. This was real. This was what it was about. This happened. We went into a slavery unlike any other. And don't let no goddamn body tell you, oh, everybody was in slavery. This wasn't in everybody's slavery, brother. This was vengeance. This was vengeance. God's vengeance. Go ahead, brother.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Is Jerusalem not trodden down with the Gentiles to this day?
Right.
To this very day? We're speaking online when there's a people in Jerusalem right now who claim to be Jews and who are not. Go ahead, brother. Where you at?
The bottom of 24. Luke 21, 24.
All right, go ahead.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
We still waiting for that time to be fulfilled. So what happened is Christ is saying to leave this place because we're going to be destroyed. And yet, you know how hard-headed Negroes is. A lot of us didn't leave. So what happened? What happened to the people that didn't leave? We're going to pick that up back in Babylon and Timbuktu. All right? You can go ahead where you left off, brother. I believe page 84.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
That's when it happened, in 70 AD. Titus, his son, the Flavians, they put an end to Jerusalem. Vengeance. This is the time of the Lord's vengeance. These are the people that the Lord employed to punish us severely. All right? Go ahead, brother.
With great slaughter.
With great kindness.
Great slaughter.
With great respect.
Great slaughter.
The respect of two nations. The responsibility of warfare. Fair warfare.
Great slaughter.
Great slaughter, man. They put it into our homeland with great slaughter, brother. Go ahead.
During this period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages in aristocracies were committed against the residue of the people.
And atrocities.
Excuse me, Salakia, atrocity.
I know you got a little headache. Yeah, you good. You good? Take your time. You good?
During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Read on.
During the period from Pompey to Julius, it had been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
That over what?
That over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
There was 1 million people that did listen to Christ. They did listen to the prophecy of Christ. They left and went down, all the way down to West Africa. All the way down to West Africa. Meaning they went to the mountains, over the mountains, across the Sahara, and on down into Africa. Read on, brother.
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery.
From Roman persecution, death, slaughter, vengeance, slavery, they went into West Africa. And we all know that them people caught up with us in West Africa. These are the people that fled, and the people that didn't get caught, that fled persecution. Now remember, these set of people went down into Africa, but there's another set of people, the people that did get caught and that did go into slavery. We're going to find out what happened to them. Read on.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Full of what?
Black Jewish slaves.
When there's a discrepancy in the word Jewish. All right, these people, these black people, were not Jewish. All right, they were Jews. These are our people. These are the remnant of our people that were taken into slavery, that they either did not leave Jerusalem or were captured by the Roman Empire at that time. And they did some atrocious things to us. The same atrocities they committed here in America against us when they caught up with the ancestors of the 1 million people, black people that went down in Africa. Remember, this is 70 AD. They caught up with us in Africa somewhere in the 1600s to enslave us down there. So they hold a grudge. This is the Lord's vengeance. The Lord holds a grudge for a lot of years, brother. You know, that 1 million didn't escape the Lord's wrath. All right? But the slave markets in Europe, they were full of black slaves that had been captured in Jerusalem when they put an end to the state. Read them.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64.
Did we finish with
This is the scripture right here.
No, let's get some more of the Timbuktu. Oh, that's a scripture written in there. Oh, Salakia. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep reading. Pay me no mind. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
And that was Deuteronomy 28, right?
64.
Oh, okay. All right, I see. All right, keep reading.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
All of that. Even wood and stone, man. Even that wooden cross and that filthy, black, rotten, disgusting meteor stone that they call Allah. You understand? We gotta serve the cultures of the other races that have enslaved us. And not only did they enslave our bodies, they enslaved our minds. Because years after the chains were taken off our hands, That's still on our minds today. Because we're out there pulling and praying and hoping that the violence against Chinese people, Korean people stop. When these same people are committing violent acts against us. When these same people are dealing with us with unfair business practices. They have a monopoly of small and medium-sized businesses in our communities. They do not share wealth with us. They take everything, they send it back to their country. They bring their families over here and they continue to abuse us. These are the nations of people that were destroying us back then. They're doing the same thing now, and we still not listening. All right, read on, brother.
This prophecy and the residue of the prophecies contained in Deuteronomy 28 from 15 to 68 befell the black Jews after they disobeyed the laws of God.
All right, now this is the meat of the prophecies, man. The meat of the curses is right there in Deuteronomy 28, man. Everything that happened to the 1 million that escaped Jerusalem that day and went all the way down into West Africa were eventually taken into slavery in the 1500s off of the Gold Coast, the Slave Coast, or Little Judah, whatever you want to call it. It's all on the map. The Slave Coast, the Gold Coast, or Little Judah. That's where they picked us up in West Africa around the countries of Ghana. All right, let's read the rest of it.
Many nations transported the Jews into slavery, and the sons of Israel transmigrated to every continent.
Every continent, man. Now, for a minute, we're going to focus on the ones that the Roman Empire took into slavery. He said the markets were full of black Jews, of slaves that the Roman Empire had procured to take back to Europe and enslave. That's how you got black slaves all throughout Europe. That's how we got into Europe and got a foothold into Europe. And you could find us from Russia all the way down to France and the Netherlands. Because they took millions of black slaves into slavery and spread them throughout the Roman Empire at that time. That's where Septimius Severus comes from. He was the descendant of those slaves that were captured and taken into Europe. And brother, these were the brave, the ones who would not die. These are the ones that fought. You know, these were the Judites that they didn't care about nothing. They stayed there on Masada and they fought the Roman Empire until they either killed them or took their children into slavery. They would not give up. The hard-headed ones. All right? That's where Septimius Severus comes out of. All right? We can go to the next slide. Now, when we got up in Europe, and Septimius Severus ended up getting together and getting down and taking out the Roman Empire, then we started building up different provinces in Europe. We started bringing about things that were from our culture, like chivalry integrity, courage. We started bringing about these things. Because why? We were Israelites. We knew who we were. We still knew who we were at this time. You understand? We started bringing about kingships in Europe. Started bringing about saints. The saints have been and have always been the children of Israel. When you see white saints or people being procured as saints, all they did was took names and things in the Bible and started using them. You understand? To make religious and social constructs, man. But we are the saints. We were the black knights in Europe. We brought about chivalry. I mean, we read it. These were people that would murder children. They had no chivalry. They didn't understand what chivalry was. They got all of that from our culture.
Right.
We brought morality to Europe. Let's get Romans 9 and 4, man. Find out who we are and who we were.
Romans chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites?
Who are Israelites, man? Let's find out who we really are. What our place is in the Bible, what our place is with God, and what is our place with each other. Read them.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
To whom pertaineth the adoption? Being adopted is what? Being adopted into something. If a child is what? Adopted into a family, he becomes a part of that family. Well, this is an adoption back in. We are the only ones that can be adopted into a culture that pertains to us. What is this talking about? The northern kingdom, who can be brought back in, adopted back into the fold. Because these were the people, when you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the last ones that were in Judea at that time, the southern kingdom, they had been sent out into slavery already. Because we had civil wars between each other. And we wouldn't accept them into the congregation, of course, because they grew up in other countries and they were acting like other people in those countries. But we didn't accept them in. But Christ's mission was to bring us back together and put us together. We are the only people, it says, who are Israelites, who pertaineth the adoption. We are the only people that the adoption pertains to. It says it right there. Who are Israelites? Who pertains to the adoption? Read on, brother.
And the glory.
And the glory. What's the glory? All of the glory that's in that 1611 Bible. All of that glory. The glory of David and Goliath. That's ours. You know that, Madame? That's our glory.
Right.
Of a young man who had the courage and the strength to go up against the hardened warrior of another nation, who he knew he was better than.
Right.
He prevailed. That glory. That glory. The glory of Samson, who prevailed. His strength unmatched. His powers unmatched. You understand me? The glory of Christ. That's our glory. The tribe of Judah. I got king's blood flowing through my veins.
Right.
I'm of the tribe of Judah, bro. The king's tribe. You understand? That's glory, my glory. That glory pertains to me. The glory of that Bible pertains to us,
right,
as a people. Read on.
And the covenants.
And the covenants of God. Brother, you think you wasn't there out in that wilderness when we said we would serve the Most High. He would be our God, and we would be his people. You were there, brother. You were there. I'm not going to get into that. You got a question, type it in or give us a call. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And the giving of the law.
The giving of the law. The only lawyers you know are in Isupkbmore. The only true lawyers of the Bible are in the Isupkbmore. We are the only ones that know and understand the law because we've kept the law. Commanding General Yohana held tight to the spirit of the law. Period. What anybody else says is irrelevant because you know it's true. Read on.
In the service of God and the promises.
The only people that's supposed to be serving the Most High are the children of Israel. Why? Because it says it in the Bible that we are the Lord's portion. His portion. You know what that means? His portion. This is what he gets. This is his payment. We're his portion, his people. And he requires our praise, our love, which means we need to do what the hell he says to do. Read on.
And the promises.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Whose are the fathers,
Go ahead.
and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Who are the fathers and of who concerning the flesh? Don't say nothing about spirit. And don't say spiritual Israelites. It said who concerning the flesh. You know what that means? The same people that were in Jerusalem in 70 AD that had to take that butt whooping, that vengeance that came from the Lord, are the same people that's being talked about here as concerning the flesh. Christ came for Israelites, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Negroes from the south. That's how you gotta remember. The Negroes is from the south. You understand? The Judah, Benjamin, and Levi from the south. And the other tribes are from the north. Christ came for both. The strangers are the northern kingdom that were estranged into other countries and scattered at that time. We're all scattered now, and we all need to come home. Today's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the same people that this Bible was talking about. The same people that are God's portion, God's chosen. It is what it is. Believe it or not, black man, woman, and child, you got a responsibility to be the portion of the Most High. All right, was that it on that?
Come on, sir.
All right, we move on to the next slide. And I appreciate you, brother. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and roll with it. Roll on with it. All right. Let's get Psalms 148, 13 and 14.
Psalms chapter 148, verse 13. Let them praise the name of the Lord.
Go ahead.
For his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven.
That's right.
Verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people.
Exalted the horn of his people. Just like it says in Romans, the flesh. The flesh. according to the flesh that Christ came. He exalted the horn of his people. You understand that? It's always about his people in the flesh, his chosen. He's fixing us. He had to destroy us to fix us. We won't listen, man. We won't listen. But there's going to be some of us that do listen, that do understand, that do hear him, that will obey him with great suffering. He will exalt the horn of his people. Read on.
The praise of all his saints.
The praise of all his saints. Right? As we spoke about, saints are the children of Israel, man. A saint is not just one man, one special man that they got out there in the Vatican. That's a pretender, usurper. Saints are the children of Israel. Paul wrote letters to the saints in Israel. Paul wrote letters to the saints. This letter is for the saints in Egypt, in Thermopylae, in Greece, and wherever. These are the saints. That's who he wrote to, the children of Israel. Read on.
Even the children of Israel, a people near unto him.
People near. Even the children of, why does it say even the children of Israel? Like it's saying, like it's talking to someone else. This is old Quaker English, man. You gotta understand. And it says even it's talking about the children of Israel, not anybody else.
Right.
Talking about the children of Israel. All right. We can go to the next slide. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me.
These are the saints, man. And what you're looking at right there is the dragon slayer. Now that picture is from Rome. Wait a minute. 1 second, let me get some. Now we talking about Saint George the Dragon Slayer. Saint George is a black man. He is the descendant of the children of Israel that were taken into slavery all over Europe. Now this is during the Dark Ages. All right. Saint George the Dragon Slayer was a saint, and I told you how they use the word saint is not how the word saint is used in the Bible. Now, Saint George the Dragon Slayer was a saint. He's a black man up in Russia, and legend tells it that he actually slayed a beast, a gigantic beast that spit fire. This is more likely a what you call it, a metaphor. He probably defeated a lot of people, or he might have killed some large animal. But his name is Saint George the Dragon Slayer. Now later on, they whitewashed Saint George the Dragon Slayer and made him a white man who slayed a dragon. But the actual picture that you're looking at are the original paintings of Saint George the Dragon Slayer before he was whitewashed. And you're looking at the icons of Russia right now. So you got the true St. George the Dragon Slayer. This is in Europe during the Dark Ages. I told you, when we started bringing about our culture in Europe, that's how you get chivalry. That's how you get courage, morality. All of this came about in Europe. Because remember, these people were murdering babies, murdering the old. Look what they did to us in Jerusalem in 70 AD. We wrote about it. Those who gave suck, they slaughtered. Look at what they did to us during slavery, the black woman. They would tie both of her legs to two horses, a pregnant black woman, split her open and watch the baby fall on the ground to terrorize us, man. Not making this up, bro. I'm not making this up. They took us into slavery in 70 AD in Europe. St. George the Dragon Slayer is just like Septimius Severus. He is the descendants of the people that Rome took into slavery, and they brought about the Byzantine Roman Empire. After what, we're going to get into that too. Wait a minute. Give me a time check. All right, we got to start moving. Let's go ahead to the next slide. All right, let's read that bit about Cardinal Albert.
Cardinal Albert of Brandenburg being chastised by Erlich van Hutten, 1517. Von Hutten was a German scholar, poet, and reformer, and also an outspoken critic of the Roman Catholic Church.
He was a German scholar. Clearly this is a black man. So why is it saying he is a German scholar? Now remember, you were named by the country you were born in. Von Hutten was a descendant of the people who were taken into slavery, those slave markets that was filled with millions of black slaves. The remnant of the people when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. He is a knight of the Holy Roman Empire who is chastising a cardinal, because at this time we are in rulership in Europe. I'm not saying we was all right, because we was off. We were way off. If you got this white man that is a cardinal, even though he's being chastised by the brother, he's still what you would call a cardinal, or someone who is an authority in the church, which that should have not been, which tells you that we were integrating into the other nations even at that time, after they had slaughtered us and destroyed us in 70 AD and for so many years. Right. All right. You finished that part?
He acted as a bridge between the Humanists and the Lutheran Reformation.
Come on, man.
He was a leader of the Imperial Knights of the Holy Roman Empire.
Of the Imperial Knights of the Holy Roman Empire. This is a painting. This is a painting, an actual painting, and I believe it is in the museum of the British Museum. This particular painting. All right, let's move to the next slide. You can read that.
Unknown nobleman portrait in Portugal. Not that the prince wears European clothing and icons. A royal coronet with two versions of the Teutonic Knights of the Holy Roman Empire cross at on the band. The Iron Cross version commonly used by the modern German military.
Look, they tried to say that this painting was of an African king with a Teutonic cross of the Holy Roman Empire on the crown. This is just the level that these people will go to try to twist history as to say that our people were not ruling in Europe at that time. We've also found historic evidence, not historic, but archaeological evidence. If you go look up Ipswich Man, oh, look, I got a whole head full of this type of stuff, man. I don't know why, but I like reading it. You know what I'm saying? Ipswich Man was a skeleton of a black man that was found in Upper Europe in a place called Ipswich. And he was buried at the head of the family. It was a white wife, a mixed child, and they were all in the grave together. Well, they found Ipswich Man, and the Europeans said that he was a traitor. He was just a traitor, somebody that came up there for trading. Well, why would he be buried in the family cemetery at the head of the family? This is what they tried to do to this painting and saying this was an African king who came to Europe. No. He had the cross of the Teutonic Knights, man. He was in that country and he was leading the country. You can go to the next one. Ipswich Man, look that up.
Charles V, King of France, returns the sword of the High Constable to Bertrand de Gluclin from the Histoire de Gluskin, after the poem Culliver, early 15th century.
Look, this brother right here, he's the King of France, Charles V. He reminds me so much of Captain Supply. And you know what? Coincidence that he here tonight. He reminds me of Captain Saparia, where if you look at the beard in the side profile,
right,
look just like my captain. But look. No, that's you, Captain. But look. Just like when we talk about the brother who had the Bible translated.
Right.
King James. He was a king of multiple countries. He was a black man. He was a descendant of those people who had been taken into slavery in 70 AD from Jerusalem. That's how they got there. That's how Charles V became the King of France. His picture is in France. You can't deny it. They have paintings of him in France as the king. And these paintings were not whitewashed, because the French, however, a little bit more accepting, was still murderers, of course. But you can find more proof from they're not going to deny it as much as the Anglo Britain. You understand? So this portrait right here When you look to the left of Charles, when he returns the sword of the High Constable to Bertrand du Guesclin. And this is in the 1320s, man. This is all throughout the Dark Ages when we ruled. Now we know where these people came from. Don't forget the million people that made it to West Africa. You know, you already know what happened to the million black people that made it to West Africa. You're one of them, right? All right, all right. Let's go ahead to the next slide.
Moorish Empire, Black Jews, Babylon to Timbuktu, page 109.
Let's get that quickly. Wow.
At this time, in the land of Spain, the black Jews were persecuted and many had fled to Morocco for refuge.
Look. And that's where the Moors originated from. They're Africans from Morocco. Of course, if you want to ask the question, were black people the Moorish Empire? All right, now let's get the correct understanding of the Moorish Empire. Black people, Israelites, Negroes in America, some of us were a part of the Moorish Empire. Some of us fought with the Moorish Empire, just like some of us fight in the American military. They were the power at that time. We were under them and fighting for them. Were we fighting for our own people and our nation? No. No. Who were the Moors? People from Morocco, Africans that were led by the Khalifa or the Arabs. They were led by them. This wasn't a black leadership, even in African leadership. Of course, we're not African. You know, like we read in the beginning, we went into Africa because of the prophecy of Christ in 70 AD, when they were murdering us so heinously. You understand? Some of us were taken off to slavery in Europe, of course. And of course, we joined with some of the nations that arose at that time. Some of us fought for the Moors. Some of us stayed with certain providence in England and fought. Just like some black people fought for England, some black people fought for America in the Revolutionary War.
Right.
You had black people fighting on both sides, but black people wasn't fighting for black people. We fought in the Revolutionary War. Matter of fact, the first man to die in the Revolutionary War was Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks was a black man. We fought for other nations for their prosperity since 70 AD, brother. All right, where we at? Did you read the? Go ahead, keep going.
As a result of this persecution, the Jews of Morocco and the Moors planned to invade Spain with the assistance of Spanish Jews.
All right, so you talking about, you got the Moors, the Moroccans, the Africans, and you got black Jews joining up, black Jews from Spain to join up to fight against these establishments at the time. Because remember, The Renaissance is coming. All right? So you had a resurgence of white leadership and nationalism coming back into the fray. Hold up, we need to fight, we need to join with this and that, and that's how we got destroyed. Anyway, we don't go too much into that. Did you finish page 109? We'll keep it. Go ahead with that. We'll do it.
In the meantime, the plot was uncovered, and the Jews of Spain suffered for their intentions. Early in the 8th century, the Mohammedans from Morocco united with the black Jews.
All right, the Mohammedans, which is Mohammed, which is Arabs. All around Morocco, the Arabs had, taken control of that and spread their filthy religion all over there. So that's what's going on with that. Read on.
United with the black Jews, made what we call an amphibious landing at the Gibraltar.
Rock of Gibraltar. That's right.
This invasion was successful. Nahum Slodge says that this first one to set foot on the soil of Spain was General Tariff, a Jew of the tribe of Simeon.
Right. So these were the invaders. This was a black man from the tribe of Simeon. Well known, well established. You can read this history anywhere. This history ain't just coming from Babylon to Timbuktu. I believe the name is Tarif. Correct. Tarifa. And this brother landed in Gibraltar, and he took a foot on Spanish soil, who of course had the best ships at that time. That's how much of a warrior we were. And I ain't gonna spend too much time on that. Read on, brother. Let's get this.
After whom the island of Tarifa opposite Tangier was named. However, the Rock of Gibraltar, previously known as the Pillars of Hercules, received its new name from the great Moorish conqueror Jebel al-Tariq, which means the mountain of Tariq.
That's right. No, we can end that right there. We won't go too much on that. It's not about the Moors. I know people be interested in the Moors. Any calls or anything coming up? We gotta watch the calls sometimes. People will call and we don't catch the call. All right, let's go to the next slide. Let's get this square, man. I believe this is in Portugal. And if you look at Portugal at the time, we're looking at a square of the people. Like you would go into Times Square in New York, and you would gauge the nationality of all the people there. What are all these black people doing in 1578 when they say we was in Africa swinging on trees? But where did these black people come from? With, of course, Teutonic crosses from the Holy Roman Empire on their arm patches, man. Where the hell these people come from? Somebody ain't telling the truth. Yeah, can I, get you this? The water. Yeah. All right, and you got the square up there?
Come, sir.
All right, let's just read that.
Chafariz del Rey in the Alfama district.
Here's the cut. Okay, select. Come, sir.
View of a square with the King's Fountain in Lisbon. Dutch painting, 1570 to 1580.
Good night. This is a Dutch painting. And in the painting, you can see the king right here with, he got the Teutonic cross on. He's a black man. Well, how the hell does that happen? We over here looking at, over in Portugal, in the Alfama district, looking at a black man as a king running things. St. James the Greater. Good night. Read on. Start over. Read that all the way through.
Champharis del Rey in the Alfama district. View of a square with the King's Fountain in Lisbon. A Dutch painting from 1570 to 1580. Close-up of a man who is the King of Portugal wearing the King's Red Cross of the Order of Santiago.
Good night.
St. James the Greater.
St. James the Greater. This is another saint running things, man. Absolutely goddamn running things in Europe. He's the ancestor of the people from 70 AD who were taken into slavery. Let's go ahead to the next slide. We got to move now. Let's get to the Renaissance.
Black European family crest.
Black European family crest. How can you have family crest if people weren't ruling in Europe? So we had specific families, most from the tribe of Judah, that were ruling there, because remember, when Jerusalem was taken, they took the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, these were the family crests, kings in Europe. And look, I didn't make this stuff up. Let's go to the next slide. This is very important.
The Renaissance.
Let's get Genesis 27:39. What is the Renaissance? What is the Renaissance, man? And we talking about, we saw all of these black people ruling in Europe during what they call the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages. And you'll find that they don't talk much about the Dark Ages. All right? It's a very obscure time. You have a couple of movies, written about the dark times when you had the knights and things of that nature. But in this time period, the Wildcat, you know that's the chase. But in that time period, it's not a lot of conversation about it. They just show you some white folks in black armor. That's what they call black knights. No, it doesn't even make any damn sense. These knights were Judites. They were from the tribe of Judah. They were healthy, hardy, and they were warriors.
Right.
When they went throughout Europe, people listened. They had chivalry. They kept the law throughout Europe of a lawless people. All right? Now let's get that Genesis 27.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 39.
Go ahead.
And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Look, we talking about Esau here. Isaac was the father of Esau. And because Jacob had already taken the blessing of Esau, Esau demanded that his father also give him a blessing. All right? So Isaac, who loved Esau, and thank the Lord for Rebekah. Give Rebekah a hand.
Right.
Because Rebekah knew that Esau was not her people. And she made for damn sure Jake got that blessing. And thankfully she did. But Isaac continued to bless Esau. He blessed him with the sword. And he would go around to everybody else's land. The wild cat. He would go around to everybody else's land, raping, robbing, murdering, and pillaging every goddamn body. Rebecca knew this, but Isaac didn't. Isaac didn't understand this. He didn't listen. He didn't get the same prophecy that Rebecca got when she went and inquired of the Lord. So these are the blessings that Esau has. Read.
And the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live.
By the sword shalt thou live. In 70 AD, the slaughter by the sword. The Lord used Esau to bring about vengeance. Read on about Esau.
And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass.
So it is saying that Esau will serve Jacob. This is going down after Septimius Severus had took power during what they call the Dark Ages, which white people look at as an evil time, as a time of despair. It was a time of despair for them. For them, it was a time of despair. But, and the Bible puts it into perspective. Read, brother.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Thou shalt what?
That thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Look, Isaac blessed Esau, saying that, yeah, you gotta serve your brother. Your brother's already been given that blessing to be on top of you. But there's going to come a time where you're going to break them chains for a minute. You're going to break them chains and you're going to usurp your brother. That's the Renaissance, brother. That's the Renaissance. Renaissance is the new beginning. Is the beginning when the people of Esau broke the yoke of their brother Jacob. All right, read on.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Read on.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So, look, after they was able to break the yoke of Jacob, and this is a blessing from Isaac, the blessing of Isaac, all right, came about the Renaissance, when they were totally able to subjugate black leadership and black dominance in Europe. Not only did they do that, but they extinguished and erased the greatness of black people and all the things that black people had accomplished in Europe, man, which is such a tragedy. But this is what they've been blessed with, the sword. And so much unquenchable greed and hate. Good night. Let's go to the next slide. Let's find out what happened during the Renaissance. Like, they completely erased the greatness of black people, and it's chronicled in the Bible. Let's get Maccabees, First Maccabees 3 and 48.
First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law.
What is the book of the law? The book of the law is the Bible. The Bible is the book of the law, man. There's a people that laid open the book of the law, just like it says. They opened it up, They looked upon it. Go ahead.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their
This
images.
is why you have pictorial Bibles. They painted the likenesses of their image. They gave us imagery for the Bible, and they painted everybody white. In the paintings that existed that showed the true nature of the prophets, they whitewashed them, which you would call whitewashing. Iconoclasm. You understand? There's a whole lot you can read upon this. It is a part of history. It is real. It is true. It is not a conspiracy theory. The prophets were black. They were painted as being black. But there was a people that went into the book and sought to paint the likenesses of their images. It is chronicled. It is a part of history. Was that all on there?
Come on, sir.
All right, let's go to the next slide. And what you looking at here is exactly what I said, iconoclasm. Iconoclasm in its finest. And the reason why, look at these paintings, man. Look at the paintings. Like, take a real hard look at them. And I'm going to get the priest to read the scripture that goes along with these paintings. Now roll with me for a minute. I'm going to open your eyes about something real quick. Let's get Daniel 7 and 9, brother.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 9.
Go ahead.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
The Ancient of Days sat upon a throne. There are two paintings here. All right? One is a white god which white people worship as being God. It's a white man with long white hair, a white toga horn, surrounded by little naked white babies. This is the person that they call God. He's touching, the person that he's touching, this is the white God, which is on the right side. He's touching actually a naked man. I don't think you can see the naked man. You see a hand, but not the actual naked man. Who he's touching with his finger is a naked man with a penis. His penis is I don't mean to be wild. So like, read on, brother.
Whose garment was white as snow.
He had a white garment on, snow white. Both of them have a white garment on. You got one, you can see his nipples. Can you see through it? What you looking at? What's that?
Almost.
His nipples, is it white? Or maybe they got that part right. I don't know. I don't know. My thumb tripping over there. All right, go ahead, read on.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
The head on his head was like the pure wool. Meaning he had nappy hair. You got a white man, obviously, and an obvious black man. Sitting on the throne, both have on a white garment. All right? Both got white hair, I believe. Read on.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
His throne was like the fiery flame. Now with the brother, with the black man, I see the flame around the throne is made of a flame, meaning the royal chair he's sitting in is a flame. I see yellow, I see red around it. I see angels around the chair. Around the white man, I see little naked babies. I don't know why those naked babies are there. This is a painting that was redone by Michelangelo. The original painting is of the black God with black angels around it. Michelangelo makes a painting of a white God with little naked babies touching a white man. You know, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? It says what it is for his goddamn self. You know what I'm saying?
If I could, it's hard.
Go ahead.
I try not to interject the whole time. But it's one thing to make them white. But why do you gotta take your shirt off and make them naked? That's, you know, that just comes, like you are, the goal was to whitewash it.
Right.
But why did you have to bring the homosexuality into it? You know what I'm saying? You don't make
And have the naked babies
all around.
right. These supposed to be warrior angels. Why are they little naked babies? This is a vile people, man. Look, but I'm up.
Evil babies or midgets.
Man, look.
Babies.
At this point, we can't give them the benefit of the doubt. It's just too blatant.
Pedophilia.
You know what I'm saying? Pedophilia.
It's a part of it. It's in his DNA to be
In the DNA. You right. You right, You right. You can see how manly this painting is. A warrior angels around. And he dealing with a brother that's on the ground who's fully clothed. Why is the person that the white God dealing with naked with a penis out? All right, I'm gonna get off of that. Let's move on, because we gotta, so you had let's move to the next slide. So you had the million black people that did listen to Christ, that did escape into West Africa, all right, that they started calling Africans. They started calling these people Africans. Matter of fact, go 2 slides down, real quick. 2 slides down. And show all the African people. And show a bunch of African people. You see them?
Come.
All right, there's a whole lot of African people on the screen. All right, so they sent us down into Africans. We're not really Africans. But I'm gonna ask the people online, look at these pictures of the Africans. Can anybody tell me, like, what country these Africans might have came from? I'll let you online look at it for a minute. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures of Africans. Do anybody know, like, where in Africa could these people might have come from? All right, I ain't got a lot of time. All right, now these people, these 5 pictures of these Africans. Now, I was not trying to deceive you, but I'm gonna say this. None of these people on that picture are Africans. No. Absolutely none of them. The first picture to the left that you see of the black woman and the child, they're from the Ottoman Islands. The second picture on top to the left is of Chinese people back in the 12th century. Down the bottom there is people from Fiji. And all the way to the left are Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans from the 17th century. None of these people are from Africa or are affiliated with Africa. Now, my point was not to deceive you, but to say that you can be dark-skinned, have woolly hair, and not be from Africa. You can be of the dark nations and not be from Africa. All right? Negroes are not from Africa. Let's go back up 2 slides, brother. Go back up. You know how to go back, right? All right, and let's get we ain't got time for Timbuktu. Let's get 2 Chronicles 14 and 7.
Second Chronicles chapter 14, verse 7. Therefore he said unto Judah, let us build these cities and make about them walls and towers, gates and bars, while the land is yet before us.
Why do you make bars, walls? To either keep somebody in or keep somebody out, right? Read on.
Because we have sought the Lord our God. We have sought him, and he hath given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered.
Read.
Verse 8, and Asa had an army of men that bare targets and spears. Out of Judah, 300,000, and out of Benjamin, there bare shields and drew bows, 280,000. All these were mighty men of valor.
Mighty men of valor. We got to fight. Sometimes on all sides. Why? Why must we fight? Who are we fighting against? Read on, bro.
Verse 9, and there came out against them Zerah, the Ethiopian, with a host of 1,300 chariots.
The what?
And there came out against them Zerah, the Ethiopian.
The Ethiopian. The Ethiopian. Who we swear by we are. What the Benjamites say? What they say? Haile Selassie. We in the king, we back up in our own land, and we got to fight the African. We're not the African. We have to fight the African. Why? Because they are enemies of Israel. They kill us. They take, they destroy. We had to build walls. We had to put mighty men on the front lines, not to destroy Africans who we are, but to destroy the other nations of people who we are not. I ain't got a lot of time. I ain't got a lot of time. Let's get this last one. Matter of fact, let's end this up. Let's go to the slide past the Africans. Go down 1, 2, 3 slides to Judah slave coast. And I'm gonna show you where the 1 million went when we left Jerusalem. When Christ gave the prediction, remember at the beginning of the class, when Christ gave the prediction for us to leave Israel, we went down into West Africa. And when we went down into West Africa, we took our culture with us. I can read to you in From Babylon to Timbuktu how different we were from the Africans. I don't have enough time for that. So I'm just going to kick this off. You got it up there, Judah Slave Coast?
Come, sir.
All right, Judah Slave Coast, if you look at the map, if you look closely, you see the Gold Coast, you see the Slave Coast, that's right there by the Gold Coast, and you see Judah, or Slave Coast. These are old maps. The maps that the slavers actually used when they were coming to get black people out of Africa. We were clearly a different people, an autonomous people. Judah. We named the land Judah. Judah. This is around Ghana. All right, let's go to the next slide, brother. In the next slide, you'll see Negro land. Ghana, Negro land and Ghana were the same, were about the same, on the borders of each other. Negro land encompassed a couple of different countries, but it was right there by Ghana. You understand? These are maps that they were using at that time. They called it Negro land, Lord Judah. It changed into the Slave Coast or the Gold Coast. These were coasts where white traders, the Dutch, they could make a hell of a profit. When the ships would come, it took them a 3-week expedition to go inland, a 3-month expedition to go inland to grab a certain people. If any black person was eligible, or any dark-skinned person was eligible for slavery, they would have snatched anybody off the damn coast. You got the San people who are hunter-gatherers. They would have had no defenses against white people. White people went in 3 months to go past the Zulu, who had all kinds of weaponry, who was killing to get a specific people. 3 months to take these people all the way back to the coast to be taken to the Caribbean. Why in the hell would they do that? Let's go to the next slide. These Africans that you call ourselves Africans. They're Africans, then you have to participate in their culture. They're cannibals. You see them eating. I didn't make this stuff up. This is not I didn't design these particular images. You understand? This is cannibalism. It's taking cow urine baths. It's dressing up as a terrorist, as a skeleton to terrorize people, terrorize women into marrying you. It's a vile culture of people there. And we are not that people. We had to survive in that land amongst those people. If we built cities 10 years after slavery, and we were actually Africans, Africa would have been a modern city before white folks ever came there, with our ingenuity. I'm in the class, man. Go to the next slide, brother. In totality, we went all the way through the sacking of Israel, the prophecy of Christ. Some people listened to Christ and went down in West Africa. Eventually, the oppressor caught up with us. They destroyed us, enslaved us, and all of the curses in Deuteronomy came true. There was a people that decided to fight, and that is historically true on Masada. The Roman army took months of sieges to starve the people from Masada in 70 AD. Those were the people that were taken into slavery Those are the people that eventually they had broke the chains of slavery via Septimius Severus and began rulership during the Dark Ages, Middle Ages, Evil Ages, whatever the hell you want to call it, until the Renaissance, where Esau, with his blessings from Isaac, was able to break the chains of his brother, completely whitewash and destroy anything black people built in Europe. All to be pushed into West Africa again by Ferdinand and Isabella and taken into slavery in the Americas. This is our history. Shalom. I'm going to turn the class over to Priest and Officer Madam Shikari. Wow.
Clap it up. Give that priest and officer a powerful hand. Security announcements. We are the Israelite School out of 1 West 125th Street.
Move over a little bit.
We are the Isupkbmore out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves on the word. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will give permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. It means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashra. A tenth of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, a free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming Holy Convocation, we have the Passover in Houston, Texas, April the 24th. April the 22nd is the slaughtering of the lamb. We have the mansion party, which is April 23rd. Then the Passover, which is on April the 24th. And then we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is on April 25th. Get your hotel rooms. Make sure you book your hotel room. Make sure you book your flights. We want to see everybody in Houston, Texas for this 52nd annual Passover. It's going to be a glorious weekend. Remind Akim and Aquatium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, a Majim. A Majim Shabbat. A Majim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat. Yashmatah. Class dismissed.
Trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Pops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire, the rhythm man blues, all this guitar smoke. Running with no cause.